Hi, my name's Gareth. I'm the lead technician for the working objects.
And my name is Anti. I am the lead engineering technician.
And we're standing here today in the Energy Hall in the Science Museum in London.
And let's take a look at the Burnley Mill Engine.
So made in 1903, this engine was made in Burnley in Lancashire in the north of England. It ran a factory from 1904 and it ran that factory right up until the mid-60s. That factory was a cotton mill, so this is called a mill engine. And a cotton mill is a big factory full of machines weaving material. This drove 1,700 looms. And if all those looms were at full capacity for a whole year, the factory would have made enough material to go once around the world. This is a big steam engine, and steam was really the start of the modern world. Prior to steam, you had a windmill or maybe a water wheel, and you could power perhaps 10 machines in your tiny factory. Steam came along, suddenly you have big steam engines and you can power thousands of machines in a big factory. The beginning of what we would call the modern steam age is probably Newcomen's engine, which is in the early 1700s. And then if you move forward from there, you get to people like James Watt in sort of late 1700s. And then by the time we get to when this engine was built in 1903, they've really perfected the art of making a really big steam engine to power a big factory. If you think about the modern world today, your phone, your glasses, your bag are all made in a big factory full of thousands of machines. Steam started all that. It was the start of mass production, and so the start of the modern world. So that's a bit of the history of the engine, and now over to Anti for a closer look.
So we are here where it all starts. Steam from our boiler comes through this pipe and enters the cylinder here. This is the high pressure cylinder. Its diameter is 17 inches. When steam enters the cylinder, it expands, and that expansion is pushing our pistons out. Pistons turn the crank, and that's what spins the wheel. And the exhaust steam from this cylinder goes to this one here. That's the low pressure cylinder. It's a lot bigger. The diameter is 39 inches. And the reason it's bigger is because that already expanded steam from the high pressure cylinder expands even further in the low pressure cylinder, doing another power stroke. And the exhaust from the low pressure cylinder goes here to the condenser, where we use cold water to cool down the steam, to condense it back to water, and that water was reused and sent back to the boilers. So you have probably noticed the names on the engine. And it used to be a custom to name the cylinders of the engine after its owners or owners' wives or children. Our engine cylinders are named after the owners. We have Mr. Taylor here and Mr. Emmett here. So this for me is the most interesting part of the engine. It's called the governor, and that controls the speed of the flywheel. And it's a really simple mechanism. The way it works, it's connected to the flywheel via these ropes here. And when the wheel spins faster, the governor would spin faster, and pushing out these weights on the side because of centrifugal force. And these weights would pull a mechanism in front here, and that shuts our steam valves a little bit faster on every stroke, reducing the steam in the cylinder and slowing the engine down while keeping a constant speed. It's interesting that these simple mechanisms were used way before steam engines were invented. They were used in windmills before steam engines, and afterwards they were used in gramophones to control the speed of the record. So it's a really universal mechanism. So here we have a really nice view of our flywheel. That wheel weighs 20 tons, and it used to spin 76 revolutions per minute in the factory, creating 750 horsepower, or just over 500 kilowatts of power. The flywheel is where all the engine comes together. It is the power output of the engine. The engine drives the flywheel, but these inner rods actually control the valves that control the engine, and the wheel spins the governor that controls the speed. So now we have gone through all the details and parts of the engine. We are all eager to see it spin. So I will head to the boiler house and fire up the boiler, and let's turn it on.
Okay, so Anti is off to the boiler to fire up the boiler. And while he's up there, basically I'm waiting for this gauge to move off zero. This shows us the pressure in the steam line, and we're waiting for it to get to around 40-45 psi. Anti will give me a call to confirm that both gauges at either end of the line have the same pressure. Once we're happy with that, he will open the line up fully. That gauge will rise even more. And then once we're fully open, I can open the regulator to let the steam into the high pressure cylinder, but I also have to open the cross passage to let the steam into the low pressure cylinder.
So this is our boiler. It's from 1980s, so it's pretty old, but it's a lot newer than the engine itself. Okay, we will start turning on the boiler. I will start with our panel. And once our fan is running, I will continue on the boiler. Now I'm checking the valves are shut. We don't want to put steam in the line before we start the boiler. The panel on. And we will start filling the boiler with water. Now the automatics will light a pilot flame in the boiler and then start the main burner that starts to produce steam. And we will see a jet of steam coming out soon. Yeah, that's a good jet of steam. I will close the release valve and open the boiler valve. Anti calling.
Yeah, go ahead, Anti.
Finally, we are at 40. I will open the line.
Yeah, I'm 50 or so here, so yeah, go ahead, Anti.
Okay, thank you.
Inside, all of the pieces of the engine, so both the cylinders and the condenser and everything else, are a wide variety of different metals, and they expand at different rates. And the engine only really runs properly when everything is expanded at the right amount so that all the tolerances are correct. So it is actually safer for the engine to run slightly colder, or to start slightly colder, because you're more likely to get bits expanding too much and interfering with some of the cylinders if you start it when it's too hot. So we prefer to start slightly colder, but the other side of that is that sometimes we have a bit more water in the engine than we would like. You saw how quick it was to start the engine. 2 people opening a valve, opening the regulator, engine's up to speed in about 2 minutes. So now we've got the engine running. Let's go and have a look behind the scenes. Okay, so as a bit of a treat for you, here's a peek behind the curtains. We're down in the basement where you wouldn't normally be able to go. And this is what's called the pit, where the bottom of the wheel is of the engine. It's a bit grubby and grimy and oily. It's just the nature of some parts of the engine. But you can see the bottom of the wheel turning, and you wouldn't normally be able to see that. And we're actually below 80 tons of steam engine in the basement. And this is all the pipe work that enables the steam engine to work. This big silver thing, the main steam line in. And this smaller pipe coming off it is to take the water out of that steam. We've got a filter, steam trap, sight glass, and a one-way valve. Steam engine wants steam, but it wants steam as dry as possible. So this is designed to take as much water out of the steam as we possibly can. And then just here to my left, you can see the big massive pipework we have just to make the engine work. I've been at the museum nearly 25 years. I love working in the museum, particularly love working on the steam engine. To be honest, it's a real privilege to be able to run it and talk to the public about it. It gives me goosebumps now just talking about the enjoyment I get from running this engine and telling everybody about it.
For me, it's a real pleasure working on the engine. Running it makes history come to life, and I feel really lucky I get to be part of it. Thank you for watching.
If you've enjoyed what you've seen, why not like and subscribe to the Science Museum YouTube channel.